Okay, I want you to picture the biggest line item on your personal balance sheet. For most of us, it's not our 401k, not our car, it is our home. You're essentially moving your entire net worth around on a game board.
It's a massive financial event, high stakes, high stress.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So here's the question that really kicked off this whole deep dive for us.
Yeah.
When it's time to manage this huge asset, how do we hire the person in charge?
Usually, we just ask a friend.
Right? Hey, my neighbor used this guy. He was super nice.
And that right there is what we're calling the friend trap.
It feels harmless. But today, we are completely flipping the script on that. We're really acting as consumer advocates here. We've been looking at some pretty eye-opening research from broker Vincent Cyr and his team, and it suggests this friend of a friend strategy. It might be costing you thousands.
It's not just about money either. It's about risk. We're moving from, a popularity contest to data-driven hiring. The mission today is to teach you how to treat your real estate agent search like you're a CEO hiring a CFO.
I love that framing, because if I were hiring a CFO, I wouldn't care if they were nice. I'd care if they knew the numbers.
Precisely.
Okay, so let's start with the usual alternative, the Google search. I open my laptop, I type in best realtor near me. I see a list of people with 5 stars. I pick one. What's wrong with that?
You've just fallen right into the optimization trap.
The optimization trap. Okay, unpack that for me.
When you search best realtor, whether it's on Google or even a basic AI tool, the algorithm isn't, it's not running a background check on their negotiation skills.
So what is it measuring?
It's measuring their SEO, search engine optimization. It is finding the agent who is best at being found.
That is a huge distinction. I'm finding the best marketer, not necessarily the best agent.
Exactly. The source material talks about an experiment Vincent Cyr ran. He typed in a really common query: what realtor should I use as a first-time buyer? Now, what does a first-time buyer actually need?
Someone patient. Someone who explains everything. Someone who won't push them.
Right, an educator. But the AI didn't look for that. It just returned a list of agents based on who had the most reviews or, get this, whose office was physically closest to the user.
Wait, really? So if I'm in a coffee shop, it just recommends the agent next door?
In one test, yeah, the AI recommended the same brokerage 3 times just because the agents shared an address. It couldn't tell the difference between a 20-year veteran and a rookie who started last week.
That's wild. It's completely blind to competence.
It's blind because of what's called the input gap. And this is the first big takeaway for you. The AI gave a bad answer because the user asked a lazy question. We're asking these SEO-shaped questions.
Like best agent.
Exactly. You ask a generic question, you get a generic popularity-based answer. To get a competence-based answer, you have to fundamentally change how you talk to the machine.
Okay, so how do we hack this? If I'm sitting in Pennsylvania or Delaware right now, what should I be typing?
You have to leverage the power of specificity. You need to stop searching for keywords and start searching for narratives.
A narrative search. Give me an example.
Okay, so instead of best agent Philadelphia suburbs, you type something like realtor experienced with nervous first-time buyers who explains every step of the process and has reviews mentioning patience.
Wow, okay. That's a lot more specific.
And look at what that does. The AI stops just looking at star ratings. It starts doing semantic matching on the content of the reviews. It stands for words like guided, taught, patient, explained.
You're filtering for the behavior, not just the visibility.
Correct. And this applies to every situation. The Cyr Team's InterviewYourAgent framework has like 10 of these scenarios: relocation, divorce, estate sales. Each one of those is a totally different job description.
Let's drill down into one, the estate heir. That's a tough one. Emotions are high, parents have passed away, the kids are left with the house.
A critical one. If you're an heir, maybe you live out of state, but the house is in, say, Delaware County. You don't need a top seller. You need a project manager. You need someone who knows probate attorneys, who has a list of clean-out crews.
And who can maybe referee between siblings fighting over the price?
Exactly, you have to search. Agent experience with probate, estate clean-outs, and remote sellers.
It's so obvious when you say it, but we're just conditioned to look for number one.
And number one is usually just most volume.
Yeah.
Which volume is a really tricky metric. And this kind of brings us to the insider secrets part of this.
Yes, let's get into the hard data. Anyone can say, I specialize in estates.
Yeah.
How do we actually verify it? What are the numbers we should be demanding?
There are 2 specific metrics mentioned that act as a sort of lie detector for competence. If you're taking notes, write these down. The first one is transaction volume by school district.
By school district, not by city.
No. Real estate is hyperlocal, especially in places like PA and Delaware. An agent can say, I've sold 400 homes, which sounds amazing,
That
right?
sounds like a superstar.
But if those 400 homes are spread across 50 different towns, that agent is a generalist, a mile wide and an inch deep.
They don't know the nuance of my specific area.
Exactly. Compare that to the example from the Cyr Team's data. They mention over 400 sales, but they specifically highlight having 84 of those transactions in one school district, Garnet Valley.
Why does that one school district number matter so much?
Because the school district dictates taxes, the buyer demographic, the resale value. An agent with 84 sales in one district knows which streets get a premium, which neighborhoods have drainage issues, the history of tax assessments.
That's data you just can't fake. You either have the sales or you don't.
Correct. So when you interview an agent, don't just ask, how many homes have you sold? Ask, how many homes have you sold in this specific school district in the last 24 months?
That's a killer question. Okay, what's the second metric? You said something about a lie detector for pricing.
The list-to-sale ratio, this is how you spot the yes man.
The yes man. The agent who just agrees with whatever price I want.
It's worse than that. It's a tactic called buying the listing.
Yeah.
Let's say you think your home is worth $700,000. Agent A says 700, Agent B says 690, but Agent C comes in and says, oh, I can get you $800,000 for this.
Well, I'm hiring Agent C. I want that extra 100 grand.
And that is the trap. Agent C knows it's not worth 800. They just want you to sign the contract. Then 3 weeks later, no showings, and they call you up and say, the market's soft, we need a price reduction.
Ugh, that's infuriating. It's a total bait and switch.
Happens all the time. The list-to-sale ratio protects you. It measures the difference between the final list price and the actual sale price.
So if they listed 100 grand and it sells for 100 grand, that's 100%.
Right. You want an agent whose career ratio is consistently at or above 100%. It proves they know how to value a property accurately from day one, and they know how to defend that value in negotiations.
And if an agent doesn't know their ratio?
Big red flag. A professional knows their stats. If they hesitate, be very careful.
This is really empowering. It's shifting the dynamic from, I hope this person is good, to show me the proof.
That's the whole idea. And speaking of proof, we should talk about the alphabet soup. You know, those letters after an agent's name, SRES, CLHMS, I usually just ignore them.
Yeah, are they not just merit badges they paid for?
Some are fluff, but some are absolutely critical indicators of that specificity we were talking about. The research highlights a few that are basically non-negotiable for certain situations.
Okay, let's break down the big ones from the Cyr Team material.
First is SRES, Seniors Real Estate Specialist. If you're over 55 or you're selling your parents' home, you need an SRES.
Is the transaction really that different for a senior?
It's not just the transaction, it's the whole financial and emotional infrastructure around it. And SRES is trained in the tax implications of selling a home you've owned since 1980. They understand reverse mortgages, capital gains, and the psychology of downsizing.
Right, letting go of the family home is heavy.
A generalist shark agent might just push too hard, and SRES is trained to manage that whole process.
That makes a ton of sense. What about divorce? That's another high-stress one.
For that, you look for RCS-D, Real Estate Collaboration Specialist, Divorce. This is a high liability sale. You've got two sellers who might not be on speaking terms.
Sounds like a nightmare for the agent.
It is. And if the agent messes up, if they seem to favor one spouse, it can blow up the whole divorce proceeding in court. An RCS-D is trained in neutral communication and court timelines.
Again, something your friend's cousin probably doesn't have.
Probably not. And the last big one is CLHMS, Certified Luxury Home Marketing Specialist. This matters because selling a high-end home isn't about fancier photos. It's a totally different distribution network.
You're looking for a completely different kind of buyer.
Exactly. You need access to international networks, wealth advisors. A generalist just puts it on Zillow. A specialist gets it in front of the right people.
This all leads perfectly into marketing. We talked about how agents use SEO to find you, but how should they be using technology to find a buyer?
This is really the battle between passive and active marketing.
Okay, define passive marketing for me.
In the industry, they call it the 3 Ps. Put it on the MLS, put a sign in the yard, and pray.
I feel like that's what 90% of agents do.
You can get away with it in a hot market, but in a shifting market, it's just negligence. You need active, data-driven marketing.
What does that look like?
It looks like targeting. You should ask an agent, where is the buyer for this house coming from? If you're selling a starter home in the suburbs, Are they running targeted digital ads to apartment complexes in the city?
Are they using retargeting? Like when the shoes I looked at follow me around the internet?
Yes, exactly that. If someone views your home on their website, does your home follow them to Facebook? You want an agent who actively hunts for the buyer, not one who just waits.
This is great. But I want to go back to the AI tool for a second. We talked about using it to find the agent. But the Interview Your Agent framework has this final step that I think is a total game changer.
The audit.
Yes. Taking the agent's own words and feeding them back into the machine. How does that work?
This is my favorite part because it removes the charisma bias. So you've narrowed it down to 3 agents. You email them all a tough question, like, how do you handle a low appraisal in a shifting market?
Okay, so you get 3 different email responses back.
Right. One might be a generic, don't worry, I'm great. One might be a form letter. And one might be a detailed technical explanation. You copy all 3, you paste them into ChatGPT or Claude, and you use a prompt like, I'm a seller looking to maximize value. Analyze these 3 responses for strategic depth and clarity. Which agent is the most capable?
You're using the AI as an impartial judge.
It strips away the personality. The AI doesn't care if Agent A had a firm handshake. It just analyzes the logic. It'll tell you Agent B provided a specific step-by-step plan, while Agent A used sales fluff.
That is brilliant. It forces the decision to be about the content, not the personality.
And for a decision of this size, removing that emotion is the single best thing you can do.
It does sound like a lot of work, though. We're talking about all this research and auditing.
It is maybe an hour or 2 of extra work, but let me ask you this. If that 2 hours saves you 20 grand on your sale price, or saves you from a lawsuit during a divorce, what's your hourly rate for that work?
Huh, yeah, the best ROI I'll ever get.
It really is.
So let's bring this all home. If I'm listening right now, anywhere really, and I'm ready to make a move, what's the final checklist?
Okay, step 1. Stop the generic searching. Do not Google best realtor.
Check. And no friend of a friend unless they can pass this audit.
Step 2. Define your narrative. Are you an heir? A nervous first-time buyer? Get specific.
Step 3.
Use the specific prompts we talked about. Agent in location experienced with narrative.
And step 4 is the interrogation.
Verify the data. Ask for the list-to-sale ratio. Ask for transaction volume by school district. Check for those designations like SRES or RCS-D. And then finally, use an AI to evaluate their actual answers.
It's a total shift in mindset. You're not just trusting the expert. You're the boss hiring a specialist.
And that's exactly how it should be. The technology is finally allowing you to see past the billboard and the headshot to the actual capability underneath.
I want to leave everyone with a final thought here. We've talked a lot about using AI to judge the agents. But in a way, this is also a challenge to us as consumers.
How so?
Well, if we're willing to hand over a $500,000 asset just based on a gut feeling, aren't we the ones failing the due diligence test?
That's a very provocative thought. We demand data when we buy a car. Why do we accept vague promises for our homes?
Exactly. If AI can now read an agent's entire digital history to tell you who they really are, maybe you owe it to yourself to run that report before you sign anything.
I certainly would.
A huge thank you to the Cyr team for the research that powered this deep dive. Go hack your home search, ask the tough questions, and we will catch you on the next one.